In 1985, Tim Eyermann and East Coast Offering performed for the first time in Cape May at the Shire on the Washington Street Mall.
The crowds at the Shire have been just
Aren't they great
phenomenal.
there? They are great.
You know, and I love to work the smaller clubs, just as like I like to work the big concerts. I don't like to do just one, but the small clubs is where I came up in, and it's a little bit more intimacy with the audience. This is an instrument that you don't normally see in a live setting because it doesn't project like a regular flute does. That's why you'll never see it in a symphony. But it has to be amplified, and this is sort of getting to be a trademark with me for about 14 years.
And that's cool.
This is a bass flute. It's got a real haunting sound. You hear it in TV themes and radio scores, movie scores, things like that, but you never see it in a live setting.
After developing a loyal fan base throughout the region, it was only natural that Tim and his band play at the very first Cape May Jazz Festival in 1994.
I really got started around 6 or 7 years old. My mother said, "Do you want to take piano lessons?" And I said, "Sure." And I was involved with that for like 5 years, but also involved in sports. I was really not really serious about music at that time, but it was a nice knowledge to know. In fact, I really disliked playing piano for about the last 3 years because I was really involved with sports. And then I took a break at 11 years old, and then 14 years old I got interested in saxophone and clarinet. And my Aunt Mill gave me a Cannonball Adderley album, and I knew what I wanted to do from 14 years old. My formal education was at Duquesne University, but I had wonderful teachers all through my career. And I think that's very important when somebody is serious about playing an instrument or studying, to have good teachers, because you can really develop a lot of bad habits if you teach yourself. And it's real nice to be able to have somebody point things out and guide you. And it is a total commitment, you know, and I have to work, I have to practice. And I practice every day when I'm performing and when I'm not performing. East Coast Offering was a concept, basically, not a group as we sort of think about it. It is the name of the group, but it's my concept. When I got out of the service in 1974, I had been friends with Tom Scott in Los Angeles. We had met each other through mutual friends when I was traveling with the Airmen of Note and recording out there. And he had a group called the LA Express. And I wanted to have a group that was the East Coast answer to that band, because I love his music and the way he plays and presents and writes and so forth. And I just think that the East Coast definition of jazz, or the concept, is a lot harder edge. It's a lot more energy. The bands that I've had, and a certain thing that I try to instill in the band, is the emotional level. carrying between 7 and 9 woodwind instruments when we perform, because I really like the different colors that the different horns and the synthesizer can do. When I program a set, I like to program a set if I were sitting in the audience, and I really think of presenting the music as entertainment. So that's why I won't play alto for 4 or 5 tunes in a row. I like to break it up and play some flute, soprano, bass flute, oboe, some clarinet, etc.
But as some jazz artists, when you see them, they're kind of in another world.
Yeah.
And you have fun. I mean, you really look like you're having a ball up there.
You connect with your people.
Yeah, well, it's communication. You have to communicate with the people. I think that it's entertainment, first of all.
Of course.
You know, and that's what we just do what's natural on stage. It's not a thing where we're self-indulged or anything, but we play music. Well, that's the whole thing about East Coast Offering. I mean, the music has to feel good.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's one of the prerequisites, that we've always had throughout the years. And I just think that's the way that we present our music. Great weekend, and it's going to be a great weekend.
I should say.
Absolutely.